I'm not on screen. What is up, crazy people? What is up? Time for some Bears talk. Time for some fun. Carl's not quite here yet. I'm headed down to spring training today, so I had to move this forward an hour, and Karl is being generous enough to pop in the second he gets off work. Usually he hasn't got an hour to himself, but I'm being demanding. I'm being a bad friend. I'm being rude because I need to drive 5 hours right when we're done here. And I'm pumping out the stuff, guys. If you haven't seen the video this morning, I did another NFL draft prospect profile. Then I did a little update on who we have been meeting with at the combine, and the combine is ongoing. In fact, I need to get another camera to show another angle. Whoa, where am I going? Whoa, what's going on? As we speak, I got the combine on right there on the little mini TV. Oh, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Don't unplug anything. Don't screw up the footage. And we're back. And we're back. And guess who's here? Guess who's here? Hey, Karl, you're little. What happened? I got to make this different.
I'm the little guy. How's it going, everyone?
Thanks for being so accommodating to jump in the second you got off of work. That's really rude of me. And but you are becoming one of my favorite people in the Bears world, Karl. I hope you don't let that go to your head and inflate and pop right here on screen.
My Twitter behavior might indicate that, but no, I appreciate that. You're definitely one of my favorite people, so it's nothing at all, man. I enjoy, like I said, I do these things offline with you whenever you'd wanted to, so I appreciate you having me on and sharing the audience with you. So
I got to stay away from, see, I give you guys the warning about me on Twitter. I got to stay away from Karl on Twitter. You can get into some trouble following Karl on Twitter. So I've given my my forward, or whatever you call it, my warning. Karl, don't tell anybody to follow you on Twitter. It could be bad news.
No, I mean, at that point, it's just so far gone. I mean, I'm in the middle of working. I see news, Trey Smith tagged. I just pump out whatever my thoughts say. I don't put any second thought. There's no filter there. All of a sudden, we're getting into attacks. Bad things happen. So it is what it is, man.
Trey Smith has been officially been tagged by the Kansas City Chiefs. Karl feels like this. This is how Karl feels like. He feels like the CHGO guys. I'm over here doing my cha-cha dance, excited that this isn't even an option for us.
Yeah,
anymore.
If you're trying to show me something, I can't see anything. But yeah, I definitely feel very deflated. It's like the aftermath of a bomb. Like, it's bad. It's bad.
You can't, this isn't on your screen right there that you can see it?
Chat, tell me if I'm wrong. I just see the background and our cameras on StreamYard right now.
What? Chat, tell me what's going on.
It might be a me
right
issue.
in front of me. Sure. I got up and I got Twitter pulled up on sharing screen, dude. I mean, how does this show up?
Yeah, I see that.
That one. Okay, now does this show up?
No.
So I can't share my screen right now. We got something going on with Twitter. Anyways, nothing on screen. Man, that's it's funny because it shows it on my side. Either way. Right now, as we speak, James Pierce just ran a 4.4740. A 4.47. That's if you guys remember Montez Sweat when he ran it 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, he ran a 4.51. At the time broke the record for a defensive end. So this is distracting. Now, your 40-yard split isn't that important for defensive end, for a defensive tackle. Those who we'll get on this. Karl knows. Look at that 10-yard split. That's what's important. Your get off, how quickly they can get off. So we'll pull. Let's see if we can stop sharing this one.
Yeah.
Does that show up now?
No.
That doesn't show anything.
No.
I need to screenshot. I'm literally gonna screenshot this right now.
So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to share a window, like a browser tab?
Yeah.
Are you able to change that active tab to what it might actually be? Because I don't know why it's not doing that.
A different one here. Let's present a new one. Let's go here. Combine results. Can you see this one?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is much better. So this is an updated live because he ran a 4.47. But here we are at the combine, guys. We got everything going on. We had the defensive tackles earlier. You'll see Ty Robinson. I'm not going to go in depth on all this. I'll just give you some quick thoughts. Ty Robinson ran the fastest 40-yard time. But when he got into some of the other drills, the wave drill and some of the other ones, he looked stiff as a board. So freakishly fast, but other things didn't look so good. I'll tell you, I've been watching like a hawk. Even while I've been working, I've just been tuned in on that really and not even working. And I'll tell you, the one that's really been stuck out to me so far Derek Harmon, man. Derek Harmon on every single drill looks fluid and fast and just seamless. I'm really liking what I see out of Derek Harmon at the combine so far. CJ West looked good too, by the way. Let me show here. There's 10-yard split. There's the splits. This is what's more important. So even though Ty Robinson was the quickest, the 10-yard split's the more important thing, how quick their get off is. I'm going to break some people's hearts right now with this, Karl. You ready?
Let's go for it.
Secret of the combine. I promise you, players do not rise their stock or drop their stock at all at the combine. You might not agree with that. Wait for my next statement. What it does, you've got all these guys in their war room. You've got them researching, looking at players, reviewing film. What it does when someone sticks out at the combine, it makes the team say, oh, we better go back and look at this guy. Then they'll look at tape, and if they see something on tape they didn't see before, maybe they just didn't spend enough time on that player on tape, then they'll confirm it with the tape, and then that player might raise boards. But they're not going to raise boards by running a 4.7 40 or a 4.4 40. It's going to be, hey, this guy stuck out here. We saw something that maybe this guy's more athletic than we thought. Let's go compare to the tape. How does this guy look on the field? And then they look at that, and that's what can raise someone off the board. It's not going to be how they do in a drill. I promise you that.
James, if you're referring to Kenneth Grant, he tweaked his hamstring, I believe, some sort of slight pull, and they essentially said, yeah, just don't do anything. He's going to hold out until the pro day.
Yeah, he was not participating today. Mason Graham was not participating. They interviewed Mason Graham, and he was like, I want to be out there participating, but he couldn't because he had a little minor injury as well, some hamstring type things.
And same thing, he'll do the pro day stuff, so you'll see him, but like Adam said, there's nothing that these guys could do that would really shake anything. The only counterpoint I'd have to that is if ownership ever got involved, where you're talking about, okay, should we draft a really good football player or Shamar Stewart? And they said, well, Shamar Stewart, he just ran under 4.6. He ran a 4.59 at this weight and height, and he jumped 40 inches. You got to go with that. So that's the worst possible case in my scenario, in my opinion. And
in this example, Shamar Stewart literally just jumped on the broad jump over 10 feet, and everyone is literally freaking the crap out.
Oh, they're foaming at the mouth. I just did a mock draft. Shamar Stewart at 39. People are saying, I don't know, that's too high, that's too high. No, guys, he's going to go high.
Yeah. James Pierce is the real deal. He is the real
Chad,
deal.
how's it going, buddy? I agree. I mean, the issue with James Pierce is off the field stuff, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, all of them. All of them have off the field stuff. Abdul Carter beat up a tow truck driver, for those who didn't know that. Abdul Carter, he better.
Allegedly. Again, favorite word. I'm trying to teach you. Allegedly.
That one's confirmed. He took a class. He got it expunged from his record. He admits it, and he's actually openly talked about it. Who was the other one? Mike Green at the combine was openly talking about it.
Now, hold on. Can you explain that? I'm not a man of the law. How do you expunge something, but then you're like in a private business, the NFL, you're just going to be like, oh, well, even though he beat up a truck driver, don't count. Got expunged. Come on.
You're just keeping it off.
Unfortunately, thank God. He should thank God every day he's that good. It's not going to matter. He's going to go first overall.
Just like if you get a speeding ticket and you take a class, it doesn't count on your record. It's the same type of thing, right?
Right, but if he actively talks about it, you got to consider it.
Mike Green was out there too. The other one, the Marshall defensive end, and he was very open with his too. I don't remember everything he said on it, but he was a very open, saying, you know what, I've addressed it.
Yeah, the Cliff Notes. Mike Green is a lock for Detroit.
Oh, yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I mean he's gonna go first round, and that attitude mixed with that head coach, I mean, it's written on the wall, in my opinion.
You'd think it'd be a Philadelphia thing right there. No, they got to take a Georgia player. We can't do that. It's got to be Georgia for them.
Yeah.
Maybe the tow truck driver coming. I love when we back the guys who do something wrong. He had it coming. The tow truck driver's an asshole.
Yeah. Who's the owner of the Tennessee Titans? Can we get a background check on the tow truck driver? Like, oh my God, man.
To go back to that when I lost it, Abdul Carter stress fracture slide. No, he won't slide at all. In fact, they say if he has surgery, it'd be an 8-week healing process. He has elected not to. That's news today coming down. He has elected not to undergo surgery. He didn't even feel it, didn't even know it was there. These combine medicals, guys, these are the most in-depth medicals you will ever receive in your life. So these guys are getting things done they've never had done before. So he didn't even know he had a stress fracture. So he consulted with several different doctors after he gets that news. Obviously, this is a huge decision for him. He's about to make, $40 million contract in the first year. I'm sorry, over the first contract. So 4-year contract, 40 plus $1 million. So he's going to take this seriously, and he has decided not to have the surgery performed, just go out in his pro day. So who was it? Rappaport, one of them, I don't know if it was Schefter or Rappaport, one of them said he's basically got two options. Get the surgery done, heal 8 weeks, come back and show that you're fine, or go to your own pro day and show off and show that this is not holding you back whatsoever. Yep. So he's elected with option 2, and he will not be doing surgery. He'll just show off at his pro day and show that he's fine with a stress fracture and that it's not affecting him at all and that he's doing great. So
Jess Laseth, I think, just nailed it. He says, I feel like the Titans are bound to trade down. That's the question. It's, do the Titans draft Abdul Carter at first overall, or are they lucky enough to trick someone into trading that pick away for a quarterback?
So here we go, Karl. With that news, let's do this. I don't know who's seen this, but this is important. This is on the Bears website, by the way. So exclusive interview with Larry Mayer. And this is a direct quote from Ryan Poles, which I find very interesting. Now, every team is given their options right now. It'd be stupid to close any door on anything. Just, at the combine, they're not revealing anything. They're just saying, we're leaving all doors open. But there's a key word in here. So with the number 10 selection this year, the spotlight is nearly as blinding. I'm not trying to take away from you talking about the number 1 pick being traded down. Abdul Carter likely going top 3. If the Titans do trade down from 1, it's because someone wants to come up for a quarterback. They'll pick Abdul Carter at 3. Anyways. So with the number 10 selection, the spotlight isn't nearly as blinding, but general manager Ryan Poles isn't changing how he prepares for the draft, especially this week in Indianapolis. Really, the approach is the same. Poles told. Can you see this? Is this showing up?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Okay, because the other one wasn't. I'm going to make it bigger so people can see. So the approach is the same. Direct quote, Poles told ChicagoBears.com. We're just trying to gather as much information about the players that we interact with. We know sitting at 10, there's probably going to be some really good opportunities. He always calls draft picks opportunities for us to improve our football team. But with this draft, there's also enough depth in the first round that I believe you could actually move back a little bit and still pick up a good player. I thought that was interesting verbiage. Have you seen that yet, Karl?
No, but it's bang on. Again, to Crimson's point in the chat, he says, don't the Titans need a quarterback? Well, there's not a good enough quarterback to select at first overall. They might be pigeonholed into actually doing so, but if your top quarterback prospect in the draft is Cam Ward, who is kind of, I can't remember if it was Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders who had the comparison to like prime Teddy Bridgewater, right? Like the best version of Teddy Bridgewater is a first-round quarterback, and you're the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. You're going to draft that at first overall? I don't think so.
So the thinking there is the Titans took quarterback 2 years ago in the second round. So it's not like he's disposable, as we've shown on a different one of these series. Well, this is part 4 of 11. We've shown that once you get to the second round, that salary cap drops off, right? I mean, this is something you were commenting on from pick 1 to 10 to 15 to 20, how much less they make getting into the second round.
Sorry, I think I misunderstood you. You said that Will Levis is disposable because of this.
Right, correct. Sorry if I said that funny. So he's
absolutely
in year 3,
he is.
So he's completely disposable. But the thinking that you're going with there, Karl, is there's not really someone better than a second-round pick this year anyway. So if they've got the number 1 pick, you can trade back to 3 and take Abdul Carter. You can,
that's the thing.
Farther.
So Crimson, sorry to cut you off, but Crimson, that is an odd take, but that's the fact of the matter is, can the Titans get lucky enough to trick someone into trading for that first overall pick so that they can still acquire a better player? Because someone at first overall is going to take a quarterback who, in my opinion, is probably the 20th best prospect in the entire draft, maybe lower. And then you still have a chance at either Mason Graham or Abdul Carter if that team that you're tricking so happens to be the Giants at 3, right?
Bro.
So that's the idea.
I got to see where I put Cam Ward on my big board. That's funny you said that. So
you revealed that to me, and it was really accurate to my initial thoughts. Again, with little
27th is where I have Cam Ward on my big board.
Exactly. There's guys who have said that there's no first-round quarterback in this draft class. I mean, I'm positive because this is just how these things happen. There's going to be a quarterback drafted in this class who's a Pro Bowler and a very good player. But that could be Jackson Dart in the 3rd round. That could be another guy who gets a good chance, is put into the perfect situation in the 7th round, like Brock Purdy. I don't think it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, so the thinking there, your young quarterback is still developing. Is there someone better that you have to take at 1-1 this year? There's not a Caleb Williams in this draft. There's not a Jaden Daniels. There's not a Freak. There's not a J.J. McCarthy. There's not even a Bo Nix in this draft class. I mean, if we're going to go all the way down that line, this first quarterback in this class would probably be 7th or 8th in last year's draft class. And next year's draft class, 2026 draft class is absolutely stacked with quarterbacks. So if you're the Titans, now I'm just free spitting here. We're not a Titans podcast, but we'll do this quickly because we brought it up. If I'm the Titans and I can go far enough back, say the Bears drop from 1 to 9, and you still feel like there's enough talent. Now, you don't want to miss out on Abdul Carter, but say you are thinking forward here and, hey, we can pick up a 2nd rounder. Maybe we get Jackson Dart. Maybe we get Trevor Scow. Maybe we pick up one of these guys that are going to fall there in the 2nd round. We can use our 1st round accordingly. But if someone's going to trade up, say from 7, the Jets want a quarterback bad enough and they're willing to give us next year's 1st rounder, and next year's 1st round class is stacked with quarterbacks, if I'm the Titans, I'm entertaining that all day long. And it's very similar to what the Bears did. I mean, whether you like Justin Fields or not, you guys are very aware that I loved Justin Fields, still root for him. I hope the kid does great. But that's the exact same scenario we were in. We had the number 1 overall pick, and we knew the 2024 draft class was better than – do I have my years off? Than the 2023 draft class. And so we said, you know what? We're going to trade from 1 to 9. We're going to pick up DJ Moore, 1st round next year. And we lucked out and got another number 1 overall pick. So great for us. But that's a very extremely similar situation to the Tennessee Titans where they're in this year. They could – get rid of Will Levis this year. We can get rid of Justin Fields last year, or we can ride with them and trade down and get some more capital for the future and build the franchise moving forward. So it's almost identical.
Can you throw up Cliff Victoria's comment regarding the Trey Smith franchise tag? And I'd love to pontificate with you on this because I feel like you'd be able to shoot this down really quickly and accurately and in an intelligent way. But I like to think outside the box and just, question things a lot more than most. So Cliff Victoria says, with Trey Smith, figured that they would tag him and then trade him, and the team that gets him would pay his $25 million salary. It's technically $24 million around, fully guaranteed, right? So
3.4.
I don't think that you're trading for Trey Smith to pay him that fully guaranteed contract on a franchise tag, because I don't know if that means that the team who receives him also has to apply the franchise tag, if that makes sense.
Once he's tagged, he's tagged.
Right, but once you trade him, if that's what ends up happening, which I speculated on today on Twitter, you're going to get him a contract. That's the idea. And all of Trey Smith's leverage right now is, you just took away my ability to become a wealthy man, even though this is a handsome salary for 1 year, I'm just going to hold out.
Well, that's actually the highest paid guard, so I don't see him holding.
Right.
So remember, all positions are tagged accordingly. So a franchise tag is
from
top
this
5.
line. Mm-hmm.
And a transition tag is top 10 average. So 23.4. Hate to have this up there, Cliff, because it's 23.4 is what it was.
Right.
Excuse me. 23.4 is the top 5 average of all offensive linemen, not just guards. So
that's correct.
You're bringing in the top tackles into this equation as well. So it works out nice when you transition or when you tag a guard. It really works out nice for the guard. So he's now the highest paid guard this year, regardless.
By several $1 million. I think the highest paid guard in the NFL was $21 million. But as Adam just said, the average is higher because of the tackles.
Yeah.
So when I said let's give him quarterback money in the sense that let's make him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history, clearly the highest paid guard, the Chiefs corroborated my thought. So I wasn't wrong there, guys. Now, the real question that I have was, I don't think that the Chiefs can afford to pay him that much money this year because Travis Kelce has elected to not retire. The Chiefs also have guys like Charles Omenihu, Nick Bolton, anyone else you could think of that are key parts to this team. They're in the middle of a dynasty. They want to keep this thing together. So I don't think they can afford to pay Trey Smith that much, but I think what they realized is putting the tag on him is the best option to get some value out of him. And if the worst comes to worst, they sign him, they restructure Mahomes, and have Mahomes also have a $99 million cap hit in 2029. That's what they'll do, but my gut still tells me that they might not be able to pay him that much money this year.
I think it's a great question, Cliff. Now, I try to give you guys as much knowledge because I research the crap out of this stuff as I can. I'm going to give you my knowledge on this, but I hope I'm right because this is one I could be wrong on. You cannot pull the tag unless a new contract is structured that would then remove the tag.
Case in point, L'Jarius Sneed from 2024 last year.
Okay.
L'Jarius Sneed, this just happened. He was franchise tagged, got a new contract in a trade that sent him to the Titans. Now, L'Jarius Sneed, whatever you thought of him before this year, because L'Jarius Sneed proved that he's a bit of a fraud, in my opinion. L'Jarius Sneed only garnered a third-round pick and I think an exchange of fifth-round picks. Something really low, right? But the opportunity cost was just letting him go for free. Now, I don't know what the comp pick formula is and what the highest outcome would be in that regard, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs were able to get value, and I wonder what they turned L'Jarius Sneed into, because I'm sure it's a starter and a player that helped them get back to the Super Bowl, instead of just letting him walk.
And several comments on this. So, number one, Creighton, well, you're right, but the assumption is that he's, so agreed, he has to sign his tag. I guess he could hold out. So there's two different things we're talking about here. He could hold out and say, I'm not going to play on a franchise tag, and then you get a whole messy situation where other teams don't even want to. If
he signs and accepts that tag and then holds out, does he get the money? Because in my opinion, he should.
Well, you can't get the money if you're not participating. Those things, I mean.
But it was out of his control to get tagged. The tag is a bit scummy.
You sign a tag. So once you are tagged, you have to sign it. So this is what Creighton's saying here. Up until it's signed, so you have to agree to you have to basically. Or you could put. You remember Le'Veon Bell forever ago, how he was tagged and he didn't want to be tagged, and then he
held out. So that's what we'd have to look up. Did Le'Veon Bell get paid while he held out?
You have to sign the tag to get paid. So he basically held out. And
without
so
signing
there's several angles here. It's a franchise tag, Creighton. Man, there's a lot of good comments on this. This is a good episode so far. So franchise tag, so top 5, and it's $23.4 million. I didn't want him in this first place, so I'm one of the happy ones. But I feel like we need to sign more really solid players like Kevin Zeitler, Tevin Jenkins. Jump on that one all you want, Karl.
What'd you just say? What'd you just say? The Bears?
Tevin Jenkins. Yep,
but
the Bears.
The Bears signing him. Now, again, this is why you're staying away from me on Twitter, because without any thought, I feel like Tevin Jenkins is going to get paid somehow, some way. Whether that number, which I've come up in my head and settled on, is $18 million. A lot of you guys are saying, no, he's gotten injured, all these things. Well, he has the exact same career arc to the guy from Washington who was drafted in a similar spot and had, again, a similar archetype. So projection there is $18.5 million. I really wouldn't be surprised. But what my gut is telling me is if the Bears were to acquire Trey Smith, which this is dead in the water, I accept that. But the Chiefs might want a Tevin Jenkins to replace Trey Smith with. So the Chiefs could essentially tell the Bears, this is how much we need to pay and what fits into our situation. The Bears have to re-sign Tevin Jenkins. Then there'll be an exchange between Tevin Jenkins and Trey Smith that includes draft picks going to Kansas City. And I know that's really outside of the box, and I accept that, but...
Can we talk about Tevin Jenkins for a minute now? Now that people are starting, I've seen more on Twitter, people are starting to accept the fact that we could re-sign Tevin Jenkins. Tell me what everyone's beef with Tevin Jenkins is. Let's just get into this.
Tevin Jenkins has flashed all-pro potential in my opinion, 22 and 2023. In the year 2024, when he needed to earn serious money for his new wife and his new child, he just decided to not play. He got injured. He sat out against the Packers for a calf injury, again, in a contract year.
You're making it sound like he was being lazy and he sat out without being able to play.
Maybe. I'm not even sure on my point at this point. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to pay any sort of serious money to a guy who's not going to play for you.
Sorry, guys. Landon Jackson's a freaking beast.
You're late to the party on that, man. That's another guy who I mocked to the Bears in like the third round. He's going to be a mid-second. Like, this guy is an athlete.
I hyped Landon Jackson like crazy, but I'm afraid he's going to go first round now with all the...
I don't know about that, but there's a possibility. Anything's possible. It's not that he doesn't deserve to. There's just so much talent.
Okay, so He's injury prone, right? That's the big knock on Tevin Jenkins. Am I right? Is there anything else?
Absolutely.
He plays like a freaking stallion. I mean, he's a bulldozer. He likes
not in
pancakes.
2024 either. He did not play like a stallion in 2024, and that's part of my beef.
He didn't play bad in 2024. Let's go.
Don't bring up the PFF. I don't want to see the PFF.
Okay, so PFF has no basis whatsoever because you can't analyze someone based off their stats. You have to give me a freaking break, Carl. Okay, I won't pull up PFF, but he is a top 10 guard in the league.
In a vacuum, he absolutely is. The problem is now if he's going to get a big bag, what's his chip on his shoulder? I feel like he would be content.
I think the Bears should give him a 1 or 2 year deal to prove it, and it works out for him too. Hey, look, and this is the way they approach it. Hey, Trey Smith just got franchised at $23.4 million. When he re-signs a deal with, say the Chiefs work out a 5-year, $150 million deal, and they backload it so they can afford him. So he's only $10 million against the cap this year, and he's $70 million against the cap in year 5. Look, Trey Smith is getting 5 years, $150 million, getting $30 million a year. Tevin Jenkins, we want you to earn that big bag. Let's sign you to a $1 or $2 million or 1 or 2 year deal for $12 to $15 million. Let's keep it in house here. We'll do some escalators for you. We'll make it work. But I think that incentivizes him to be able to say, yeah, I want to earn that big contract just like Trey Smith just had. Here's back to my original comment. His problem that all Bears fans have problems with is injury, right? Is a single one of those injuries chronic, lingering, a continuous issue? Is it something that's been ongoing? Because injuries
his back
happen over and over and over. He didn't have a back issue in 2024. That wasn't one of the things that plagued him. It was concussion, calf, concussion, and what was the other one? Not back, though. Hey, Sam L., thanks for the super chat. Trey Smith resigning with the Chiefs all but guarantees that the Bears are drafting Ollie Gordon. Let's go.
That's flawless logic, by the way. That is flawless.
I can't disagree with it. And
to the same extent, Creighton Wilfong does have some breaking news for you as well. I saw that. You definitely missed it. You definitely missed it. I'd be happy to read it off if you can't find it.
Flowing and going. Let me see if I can find it.
It's at 3:19 p.m. I'm sorry. There you go.
Breaking news. Big Dex was seen kicking in the doors to the quarterback's room. Onlookers say it's absolute chaos. Limbs flying everywhere. Dex said, I need snacks. Love it. Creighton always gives us our breaking news on Big Dex because we want Big Dex to be the next big thing in Chicago. We want him to be an all-pro. We want him to be the one.
Yeah, Knowledge Untamed, really good comment from you. The mental health as well. That's the root of it all, right? I don't know, man. There's just something about Tevin Jenkins where I went to bat for him. I was definitely on board for trying to re-sign him even before the season started because now it just feels like you're in a rock and a hard place, man. I accept that Tevin Jenkins could be the best free agent option at left guard. Currently, I hope to God that changes. But I'm fearful of the amount of money it's going to take to keep him. And that cost versus what you're going to acquire as far as games played, I don't think it's going to look good at the end of the day.
Will we use a third rounder for a kicker, you think, Tony May? Do you think they'll go that
far?
Well,
no. What'll happen is someone will get really mad at Cairo Santos again, and Richard Hightower will get very mad at them for getting mad at Cairo, and the Bears will be forced to get rid of Richard Hightower, making Cairo Santos expendable. And at the end of all of that, the Chicago Bears will draft the Zavada out of Michigan with their first-round pick next year. So, crystal ball.
Props to Samo on this one on Twitter. I don't know if you saw this with Samo interacting with Big Dex. Big Dex responded to Samo.
Didn't see that.
So
that's awesome.
A lot of people were saying this that Big Dex at defense. And rumors fly. Rumors are rumors. You know how hard it is to switch a position, and Big Dex doesn't have the quick. That was his one knock. He doesn't have the split. He doesn't have the get off. So someone posted that, and then Big Dex, Jervon Dexter, posted on Twitter. He said, people be out here making all sorts of stuff up. And then Samo was just like, he quoted somebody else saying it, and Jervon Dexter laughed at it and interacted with Samo. And it was actually a pretty cool thing to see Samo get that interaction from Jervon Dexter. I enjoyed it. But no, I don't think he'll switch to defensive end. That's not going to happen, especially with this
now
then class that we have coming up. It's just too many options to push him in.
if you want to get kind of, I don't know what the term I want to say is. If you really want to come up with an interesting idea regarding that, though, Gervon Dexter can play edge rusher essentially in a 4-3 on obvious passing downs because we saw that from him last year. So it's
He
definitely
can't.
possible if he wants to fine tune his craft and his body to match that,
I mean,
if
he
that's what
can,
Dennis
but
Allen wants.
the Bears have already even mentioned defensive interior, how it's important to work from the inside out, not outside in, to be able to come with that pressure from the inside. So they're only going to look to improve on the inside, and we're really weak on the inside. We got Gervon Dexter. As far as pressure goes, Andrew Billings is actually pretty decent at getting pressure, but we have two slots there missing. Zach Pickens has proven he's not worth his weight, and we need Kenneth Grant to come in and help us out as well. So we
Uh,
need so much. Yeah, I
uh,
said that and it perked your ears, didn't it?
Yeah, I'll break some news. I mean, I'm going to be catastrophically heartbroken if we can't get either of the two main Michigan men or the third honorary Michigan men, right? Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, get one of those guys. If you can't get one of them, get Walter Nolan, because I've seen Walter Nolan in a Michigan uniform at a photo shoot. He's an honorary Michigan man. I would love Walter Nolan, but if we don't get either of those three guys, I'm going to be heartbroken, even more than today.
I love it. Karl's sending me this stuff over Twitter, over Messenger. I was like,
Right
he
on my
never signed
sleeve,
with
man.
Michigan. He's like, no, but it came down to his top 5, and we went back and forth, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think you guys are watching the Combine. Atmos, are you watching the Combine and seeing things that, because, man, Derek Harmon was fun to watch. I'm missing out on the defensive ends, which is my favorite position to watch because it's what I played. I was
Yeah, I was going to say, it hits home for you.
So I really enjoy watching these guys, but I'll watch it later. Sam L is speaking my language here.
They got they got a simulcam with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, James Pierce, and Saquon Barkley. Can I throw that up on the screen for you?
Yeah, do it. Do it. There's Jack Sawyer right there. They're showing he's coming up.
Oh man, the slander on him. I feel really weird right now, Adam. Let me be very honest with you, okay? My draft stock in Will Johnson is going down, and my stock in Jack Sawyer is going up.
Oh, that's got to be terrifying for you as a Michigan
awkward.
fan.
It's awkward. Yeah. Here's the clip of the simulcam. I mean, these guys are just freaks. That's the only way to put it, is that they're freaks.
Oh, there it shows. Okay.
These guys are freaks. These guys are freaks.
Ooh, James Pierce right there with Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown.
That is just insane stuff. I'm gonna pull it, but that's insane stuff.
That doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. It's 40. It doesn't mean everything. Too many people put too much weight in the 40. Maybe for a wide receiver or running back that pulls more weight. That's about it. For a defensive end, for a defensive tackle. Yeah, Collins. I don't know if Collins did the 40 actually. Collins did the other drills. I saw him doing the other drills, but I don't think he participated in the 40. To be honest, let me stop this one. Let's go back to here, combine results. I don't think Collins did the 40, to be honest, guys. I'll have to go back and look. Yeah, a lot of them didn't do the 40 actually, but did other drills. Yeah, not all of them.
Are the safeties doing any work today? The defensive backs?
No. Here, let's go to that so everybody can see it. I forget we need to fill everyone in on everything. So
I'm seeing Malachi Starks having some sort of input here on Twitter from around the NFL.
Here's the schedule. All right, here's today. And this is hard to see. Let's see if we can pull it up, make it bigger for everyone. So today, I've highlighted there's Thursday. It's in red. So, stop moving along here. Pause. All right, so defensive backs and tight ends will be doing their ortho exams, media interviews, and team interviews today. The on-field workout and measurement started today with the defensive ends, defensive tackles, and linebackers. And then tomorrow you'll have the on-field workout for the defensive backs and tight ends. But they're all rotating through in a very systematic way where, you know, they're doing interviews one day, they're doing press interviews another day, and then they're doing the on-field workouts. So tomorrow will be the workouts for the defensive backs and tight ends. And then the next day, running backs, wideouts, and quarterbacks. And then the last day, offensive linemen will be doing their measurements and on-field workouts on that day.
Saturday is going to be a fun day for sure. I think that's where we're going to start to see some real validation for myself regarding these running backs and where they're going to get drafted.
And that's Cubs doubleheader baseball day. I've got 2 games to go to that day. Spring training couldn't be scheduled any worse than that.
Are you complaining about having to watch baseball while also indulging yourself in NFL scouting combine?
Yes, I've always got something to complain about, Carl.
Yes, unbelievable. This guy.
All right, so here is those who didn't see this. Did a video on earlier. This is the so far. Now we don't get to hear all of them because the only way you find out is if someone. So we talked about the press conferences and the media conferences. These players, when they're done interviewing, go up in front of the media, and then if they say who they met with, that the Bears aren't out there telling everyone, hey, these are the 60 players that we decided to visit with. In fact, last year we only learned about 29 or 30 of them of the 60 because you just have to rely on players. And that's why sometimes you hear Karl or these other guys that are there saying, hey, did you meet with the Bears? And then they'll say, yeah, I met with the Bears. And that's how you get confirmed. So we don't always know everyone that met with the Bears. But these are ones that have confirmed they have met with the Bears, which is, fun to see some of these. Makes you question some things. Makes you wonder what's going on. Mason Graham, are we going to trade up? 3 safeties? Seems like we're
that was going to be what I had to ask you, Adam, is I see 3 safeties and a cornerback on this list, which is, if we're talking about good old Swift Sports Network, the evaluation, how much stock we're putting in there. Are we actually going to be targeting a safety in this draft, high in the draft?
Well, and you look at where those ones are on the big boards, where they're listed at, and you can see those are all right around that 5th round pick range. So are the Bears saying, hey, we're going to take this 5th rounder, or we can trade up if we love one of these guys, trade up from the 5th round into the 4th round and take one of these guys. Then you look at the tight ends, and you've got a clear place there too, because there's a 1st rounder, and then the other 2 are right around that 3rd round range. So tight end is probably going to be one of those first 4 picks if you're counting tea leaves here, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked about that with Gerald Everett, because you had pushed back and said it doesn't make sense to replace him in free agency, and I think your logic was spot on. I don't think that there's a better option necessarily for what Gerald Everett offers, but you save the cap, and this is a really deep class for tight ends. I watched Gunnar Helm against Michigan. He lit Michigan up. That's a good tight end. I think in any other day he might go in the 2nd round. But if he's available to you and he fits the scheme that Ben Johnson wants to run, I'm all for it. There's no issues there for me.
I had to put this up here because it's just funny. Anybody super chat, Sam L's going to match the next one. I'm not going to complain one bit. I always appreciate when you guys do super chats. Don't ever feel obligated to super chat. It's just great to be in here chatting with 130 of our like-minded Bears friends and discussing and analyzing what the Bears are going to do and trying to figure out what the next step is. So this is a good question I saw from James Horner. What does that tell us about the injured safety at home? Well, it could mean 2 things.
Yeah,
one, it could mean Jaquan Brisker isn't quite as healthy as you'd want. Or the other thing is all 4 safeties on our roster, their contracts come to an end at the end of 2025. Elijah Hicks, Kevin Byard, Simone Biles' husband. What's his name again?
That's his name. Simone Biles'
husband.
No, it's Jonathan Biles, Adam. It's Jonathan Biles.
Jonathan Owens and
you got me too.
Jaquan Brisker. Every one of their contracts ends in 2025, so it's not a bad time if you like the safety class. And it is actually, it's not, you don't have top end safety. You've got 1 or 2 at the top. Okay, so it's not like, oh, this is overloaded. You won't hear people talking about this class is overloaded with safety, but it is very solid in the middle, and it's really that way with a lot. This draft taking 72 this year as opposed to 75 last year. You hear people complaining about, oh, we took Karan Amagaji last year at 75. Well, 75 this year would probably be like 120. Well, 120 this year would be like 75 last year. That's how deep the middle of this class is. Yeah. In fact, you hear analysts talking about the top, like from 10 to 50 is probably the same type of player. Yeah, but then 50 to 100 in this class is normally like your 2nd rounders in every other year. So we're going to get someone good in the 3rd round that would normally be like a 2nd rounder in this round. So if that makes sense, I feel like I word saladed out all that, but I was trying to get that.
No, you're spot on. That's what I'm hearing too. Picks 20 to 60, the exact same thing. So you're going to get potentially a 1st rounder at pick 60. And then regarding the safeties, there's 2 guys to me that are standing out right now. It's Malachi Starks, and then Jahdae Barron is just shooting up. Again, another player. I don't know if it's my intuition or what, but this Barron kid from Texas, I think he's got the juice. So that's
he's
a player.
Isn't he a linebacker?
He's like a cornerback or something, but I think he's speculated to play safety, and I don't even know what type of safety, but just the clips I've seen, the way he plays. If the Bears found a way to get him, I wouldn't want them to draft him over Mason Graham. But that's a player again. He's going to be a really good football player.
What's the disrespect here for Nick Amanwari, man? Why is no one showing the love to Nick Amanwari?
It's potentially my ignorance. I'm not afraid to admit that, but I don't know, man. It's just those two names are the ones that are sticking out more than him, and he's probably a first-round kid. I don't know.
He's in my top 10 talent in this draft class.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. I think that just hits home on what we're talking about with how deep it is at certain positions and overall. I mean, unfortunately for some Bears fans, I think the real lacking part of this draft is there's no elite or real quality tackle talent.
Okay, so I got to go back here. We're going to have to bring this up one more time because I think this is bigger than we're giving it credence to. Right here. So with Ryan Poles saying this, I mean, it takes two to tango, right? You can't just say, well, we want to trade back if we want. You want to trade back, so we're going to do it. It's just we look at our mock draft simulator and we have the opportunity to move from 10 to 18, so it's a done deal, right? I mean, everybody else views this the same way. Between 10 and 50 is roughly the same caliber of players, so why would anybody else trade up?
Again, desperation. I think that the idea of trading up for Ashton Jeanty as a possibility is going to get thwarted very, very quickly because, again, I said this half jokingly, and I'm not sure if I believe it yet, but I can see a world where Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton, and Travion Henderson are all first-round picks. I'm not saying they're all going to go, picks 2, 3, 4, but they might go 21, 22, 25 at the back end of this draft because you can say this is a deep class, all these things, but these are really good running backs, guys.
They're extremely good running backs, but you're also competing against extremely good defensive ends and defensive tackles. And I mean, they mentioned on NFL Network earlier, the last time this many defensive tackles were taken in the first round was in 2019. I believe there were 5 or 6 of them. And there are 7 or 8 defensive tackles that have a grade that's good enough to be in the first round this year. And it's a position of need in the NFL right now. There are not a ton of elite defensive tackles on roster. Look at the Bears alone. It's one of our biggest weaknesses.
Absolutely.
So you look at that, and there could be a run on several different positions, not just running back.
These defensive ends were good before we saw anything, right? Just names alone. The speculation for me with Shamar Stewart, there's no production, but the tape, the physical attributes, they jump out at you, right? We're looking at these numbers that are filtering in. I see James Pierce Jr. ran a 4.47 40-yard dash. Are you freaking kidding me? It could be the 2025 NFL draft class could mimic the 2024 draft class for defensive ends in comparison to quarterbacks. 12 picks, you could get 6 defensive ends. I really wouldn't be surprised. These kids are nuts.
So those that don't understand the hype on Abdul Carter yet, just go Google Abdul Carter stutter step, Abdul Carter fake move. Like the way, I mean, I can't even imitate it, but he will, and then he could juke anybody out. So his ghost move, his juke, his ability, just elite. And then you look at James Pierce and him running a quick 40 this year and a very quick 10-yard split too. That pure athleticism getting around the edge doesn't change it. It mirrors the tape that they had on him. These edges are going to be rising, but getting back to what you said about running backs, every team's going to be seeing the same thing, though, and think of it the other way, Karl. What if teams say the same approach that I've been saying this whole time? There's too many good running backs in this class to take one at 10. Well, if other teams say in their analysis, because they've all got their own big board, if other teams say, well, I see Ashton Jeanty and Omarion Hampton and Travion Henderson and Caleb Johnson and Quinshad Judkins, and I see all these guys kind of in that same tier, we don't have to rush off the board. And that's kind of what I've said. You could see, as hard as this is for some people to believe, you could see Ashton Jeanty, because if there's not a huge gap between them, dropping all the way to 20 to the Broncos, 22 to the Chargers, because teams they're saying in the second round, I'll take one of these cluster guys, because if Jeanty goes at 20 and then Travion Henderson goes at 22 and then the Raiders pick one, or the Who else needs one at the end of the first round?
The Vikings, the
If the Vikings
Steelers.
take one, and
What
then
I'd like to push back on this is now we're just playing a glorified game of who blinks first, chicken or the egg.
well, that's why you see the runs on players happen.
Yeah, so if the Raiders take a running back at 6, now it gets interesting. That's what I'm trying to portray.
Yeah, it could happen either way. It could be these runs on players happen at different times because you're looking at your boards, and sometimes they do. You hear about pods last year. I mean, this is gold. You're great, Karl. I love doing shows with you. Pods, Nux. Where's my? So the pods conversation, guys. So when you have these pods, the Bears are going to place players. Let's say they have Abdul Carter, James Pierce, Nick Scourton, whoever you care to put in there. Say there's 6 different defensive ends, and they want to take a defensive end, or there's 6 different defensive tackles, and they've got Mason Graham and Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant and Derek Harmon and I mean all of them, on and on and on. And they've got these guys in a pod, and they say, well, there's not a huge difference in our need here with what we want. So, we're good holding off on this, and then all of a sudden the team takes Abdul Carter or Mason Graham, and then they take Kenneth Grant, and then the Bears say, oh, okay, now we need to start getting serious about this because our pod is starting to get thin, and we really want one of these guys here. That's what makes a run on a player. So if all of a sudden the Raiders do go Ashton Genty at 6, and then the Cowboys go Travion Henderson or Omarion Hampton at 12, then all of a sudden it's going to make a team like the Broncos and the Chargers consider running back in the first when they normally wouldn't have considered them in the first, because you've got teams waiting in the wings like the Vikings and Steelers and there's on and on and on. There's so many teams that are going to be looking for.
I think that the Washington Commanders are not going to leave this draft without a top running back, a top 10 running back, whatever you want to say, right? So it's thankfully because of the running backs that were signed in the offseason that are like the big 3, you want to call them, right? Barkley, Henry, Josh Jacobs. These guys are bringing that position back, and I would look at the young quarterbacks that were drafted last year, and you always hear a good running game is a quarterback's best friend. So why not get Bo Nix a really good running back? Why not get Jaden Daniels a really good running back? I mean, these things are going to happen, man.
But then you can see it go the other way. If all of a sudden these defensive stallions of this class start going, and they go at, say, Titans trade back, and they go at 3, and then they go with the Panthers, and then they go with the Jets, and then they go with the Saints, and then they go with the Bears. And then they go with even the Cowboys need defense. They might not go running back. They might not go tight end. They might go defensive line. And then you've got all these guys coming off the board. And you can see that run happening in the first round of, no, we got to get our guy before these things start slipping. And then you see the running back slipping back. So that's how these runs on players go. And then they go out of position where you think you knew where these players were going to go. You see some of these things turn in the draft. And that's what makes the draft so fun and so exciting, is because it does end up going out of order. And then it pushes things around, and then you start having to adjust and adapt. So it makes it a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I could see the flip side of the coin with the running back. I could see essentially only Genty getting drafted. And then you're going to sleep on it, and you're going to be like, well, we're going to have a plan of attack for round 2. You're going to have your phone list in order. You're going to say, okay, Travion Henderson just got taken by the Raiders at 37. Now I got to call into 38 and jump the Bears before they draft Omarion Hampton, things like this, So there's going to be a run, like you said. That's the easiest way to put it. I don't know if Muck the General is saying the Commanders don't really need a running back because they have a running back behind the center, or what you're saying, but you might not be wrong. I'm not too sure. And then Knowledge Untamed, Bo Nix is a quarterback. I'm not sure what I said, but definitely Bo Nix is a quarterback. And when the Broncos draft Caleb Johnson at pick 41 or whatever it is,
by now, chat has their own thing going on out there. They get into their own world, and I don't.
I like keeping them engaged just enough. You know what it is.
I love it.
They add to the live show. It's a very pleasurable experience. So again, we appreciate you guys.
You guys remember last off season who was pounding the table for? I feel like I'm always in the know with free agency. Do you guys remember who was pounding the table for Derrick Henry? And everybody said he was old and washed up. Anybody remember?
My gut tells me Adam Mason's tuning his horn yet again, but
yet again, I love it. Yeah, I was pounding hard for Derrick Henry, and I said that's the one guy we should go after in free agency, and nobody listened. Everybody said I was crazy, and everybody said he's too old. Well, guess who else is too old
Well,
this year? Kevin Zeitler.
that was a very well. That's true. I'm very okay with Zeitler. What I wanted to say with Henry is
You are
I would
now.
love to see Henry in another system that doesn't have the best dual threat quarterback in the NFL right there too. Right? I mean, I saw a stat; those two combined were each averaging 7 yards a carry. It was just nuts.
He's still putting more down freaking face masks than anybody in the history, pushing guys around, carrying 15 yards down the field.
Yeah,
Their
I
kid is
hate
not
when they
washed up.
call it a stiff arm. Like, just call it what it is. He's just allowed to do hands to the face. It's impressive, but come on.
Yeah, we all remember Saquon. I just don't know if too many of us thought that was realistic to get Saquon. But apparently,
Jarrett Payton did say he put that salt. He did the salt bay. I'm Jarrett Payton. Salt bay right in the wound. Like he said, they were close to getting him. So
yeah, apparently we were closer than any of us thought. So I didn't have any idea. And you thought that would have come out on Hard Knocks if it came out at all, and it didn't. And then you hear later that we were actually really close.
Unless
to getting him.
Jarrett Payton is lying, but I don't think that's good to suggest that, and I doubt he is. So
yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, here's who we've met with so far. And then if you look at we didn't even bring this up, did we? Okay, the salary cap is set, guys. They gave us a range before. Now it's official. It's $279.2 million. So right in the middle of where they said 277.5. Man, I gotta quit. I gotta pause. 277.5 to 281.5. Now it's set at 279.2. It's firm. That is it. It's not 10 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago. This is when I saw it. I screenshotted the news and got it prepared for this show. I don't know, it was 3-4 hours ago, whenever it was. But that happened today. So that's the other big news today.
yeah,
The other big news,
exact
Trey
number.
Smith is a goner. I feel like I'm missing one here, Carl.
A monster piece of news.
Yep.
Outside of people getting into fights at the NFL scouting combine at Starbucks, I don't know what else we'd be missing. They are running with that, man. Watching the scouting combine earlier was a treat. They are leaning into it. I love it.
Wouldn't it be fun to? I think you and I would be the type that would go there and just raise a little bit of hell for the fun of it because we wouldn't care about our press credentials. We'd just go in and tell Daniel Jeremiah or tell someone how we feel and start
this is like
altercation.
This is like a prime, not to be rude, but a prime Twitter bot. Like that's who got into the altercation with Ian Rappaport. So
Who was it again? Schultz? Jordan
couldn't
Schultz?
tell you. Just some dweeb. I don't know who it was.
It was Jordan Schultz. I'm pretty positive.
I wouldn't call this breaking news, but Tom Pelissero is reporting that Jalen Reeves-Maybin is going to be released. Don't know if that's a guy we want to go after.
Either.
I doubt it.
We'll see some releases happening here in the upcoming. And we really got off topic with this one, but we hit the major things and we hit who the Bears have been meeting with and kind of some other things on there that stick out to the linebackers. I would say on the linebacker front, it looks like the Bears are clearly going to target picking up another one, but they're very well known for picking up undrafted free agent linebackers. I'm really shocked that nobody interviewed Jackson Woodard and said, hey, have you met with the Bears? Nobody even asked him that question. Really disappointed in Bears press for not asking that question. They should have done that. Should have been in on that. A finalist for the what's it called? The tight end award in college. It's the Butkus, isn't it? Isn't it the Butkus Award? I think it is. The Butkus Award. So
More than likely.
In fact, Carson Schlesinger was also a finalist for the Butkus Award, and Schlesinger is a fourth round prospect as stands right now. Did you see him up there with his flowing golden locks?
Oh, that's who that is? Yeah.
I
saw the meme, essentially. A guy who's a linebacker with that flow is incapable of not succeeding in the NFL. So
he's pretty much a guarantee to be a good hockey player. But
yeah, reminds me of like a young Patrick Kane for sure.
Sunquill Wooten, appreciate the super chat. It's Will Fries or Caleb Dies at this point. I joke, of course. I think you guys are poking at me because of the whole Will Fries thing. I compared Will Fries to In-N-Out fries because they're cardboard and they're trash.
Yeah, so it's very possible there as well. I mean, the pivot has been officially now for Bears fans regarding fixing the offensive line. Right to left, Zeitler, Drew Dahlman, Tevin Jenkins, and you still draft a guy at the very least in the second round, if not higher, just to develop. I don't know about all that. You said, we don't have to sign Trey Smith so we can spread the wealth. Who is saying that these guys are not going to be getting good money? The cap just shot up.
Well, that's the problem. Will Fries with 4 games of proven experience. Proven experience at 4 games. Before that, just an absolute train wreck of development. Not reliable at all. Pressure like
Was
crazy.
he
His
was he
quarterback getting killed.
was he an actual All Pro in 2023, or he had the potential?
No, he was terrible in 2023.
Okay.
Absolutely garbage.
So
in
this is all
2023.
speculation from his good performance in 2024 over the course of a measly 4 games.
Four and a half, and then he got injured. Yeah, and
But in 2023, he didn't have any sort of Pro Bowl potential. Nothing. He just was terrible.
He's terrible. Here, we're gonna have to pull it up now. 'cause
Very
you're doing this.
interesting.
Here, I got to get it ready, and then I'll pull it up. So let's see here.
What's this Naj going at? He's always coming at me. Saturday, 18th October 2025. Is that when Michigan plays your little Huskies? I'm ready
Naj
for
has been
it.
on a roll lately. He's got.
I love the Naj. I think the Naj is the guy who I've been interacting with in those fantasy football chats. So Naj, you're fantastic. I hope you don't think I think otherwise.
Naj is on a roll. The Naj. If you call him Noj, he doesn't like it though. Don't call him the Noj.
Noj.
Noj. Okay, here's Will Fries. Our wonderful hunk of a man, a meager 305-pound guard, selected in the 7th round. Who one of my best friends. If you guys saw the videos where we did the upset predictions during the season, Brock, my buddy who would come on, he's a diehard Indianapolis Colts fan. He's not one bit sad if Will Fries goes because they know someone's gonna overpay for him. Here's his 2023 season. Played the full season as a starter, 30 pressures on 677 pass block opportunities, 4 sacks allowed, 65 grade there, 59 grade on run blocking. Can't get out to the second level very well at all. He's kind of clunky and slow. But then this year he played 4.5 games, almost 5 games. He got most of the way through that 4th game and allowed 2 sacks in those games, but still less pressures and higher grades. So that's what everyone's basing it off right there because he looks like he's played a small amount of acceptable football. Sorry, I had that covered up. Didn't realize that with the comment.
Yeah, the 2022 and 2023 grades are not indicating that he's very, very special. I've always viewed the Indianapolis Colts offensive line as being a plus, like a very good unit.
Always. Yeah, I agree with you.
So if he's coming from there, he's definitely worth a sniff. But if this is a guy who we're going to get on the cheap, like a $1 million guy, $8 million, sure. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
No, he's going to be roughly 14, 15 million is what they're saying. So here's Tevin Jenkins, who's your priority there?
Oh, I don't need to see these grades. I've already told you everything you need to know about the guy.
Sam L., thanks for matching the super chat. You didn't have to do that. I wasn't trying to hold you to it. Ollie Gordon it is. Wouldn't it be great if the Bears do draft Ollie Gordon now?
At this point, it almost feels like we have to try and see if we can get some sort of cameo for him because Sam L needs that interaction. This is like beyond dedication at this point. This is impressive.
Sam, you just let us know in the comments if you want to come on the show next week. Carl and I would love to have you on episode 5 of 11 for this show. We'd love to have you on.
I'd be honored. Yeah, absolutely, man. Knowledge Untamed corroborating my thoughts here as well regarding Jahdae Barron. That's the guy I'm talking about. Like, he's going to go high. He's being slept on. I don't know about this Amon Wari guy. I'm sure he's great, but I watched Barron. I'm pretty sure he had a field day against Michigan. He's a good player. He's going to be just fine.
This
top of this draft.
Amon Wari guy, how dare you disrespect Amon Wari like that?
Yeah, and I'm sure he's going to end up getting drafted to replace Harrison Smith on the Vikings, and he'll terrorize the Bears just like that son of a bitch Golden Domer. Sorry for the swear, but I despise
Ooh, he
Harrison
wants to
Smith.
come on live to the show. He wants to come into studio. I fly to Vegas to play poker often. Make a cameo one day. I'll tell you, I live in Vegas, and my experiences of playing poker don't end well. I've never... There's a reason I don't advocate gambling, guys. I don't see it ever going well for anybody. I've never seen someone.
Adam Mason's batting 1,000 again. Jeez.
If you're a poker player, I want to know how you're doing with that, or if this is something you've allocated part of your income to, and you.
Romy, that's fantastic stuff.
BJ and fries. We need some Canadian fries there too with that. Where's Noge's comment? Noge. Nah,
Canadian.
it's official Canadian pronunciation. Those who don't know, Canadians do some great things with some fries. They put some gravy and some cheese on it, and they make some
Oh,
poutine.
that's not a great thing at all.
It's wonderful. You
Honestly,
haven't had authentic.
no,
You
no,
haven't
no,
had
no.
authentic poutine. Then I lived in Canada for 2 years.
Poutine.
There's some authentic poutine that is wonderful.
There's a pronunciation you could have. I think you could say a very bad word there, but go on.
Trying to make a sexual innuendo out of poutine.
No. It's. I think it's Spanish. I don't know what it is. I'll do my homework. I'll do my homework for you.
All right, guys. We are keeping this one shorter because I am literally getting into my car right now, driving 5 hours to spring training. Karl was gracious enough to come on early for me. We didn't cover nearly enough of what we wanted to, but we did get you guys updated on who the Bears have met with and where they stand right now. The combine is literally going on right now. We're seeing some big times. We've talked about kind of implications of what could happen. Runs, we wanted to cover that. We did that. Karl, you're spot on with your analysis of how those things can. Nobody knows what's going to happen right now.
Correct.
Other than who's probably going to be picked in the top 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then after that, craziness can ensue. You can see people trading up, trading down. We did cover that Ryan Poles has left the door wide open for a trade down with verbiage that sounds more like other years, more like he's kind of expecting it to, in my opinion. We didn't dive too deep into that, but that verbiage made it sound kind of like he wants to trade down. But as we said, it takes two to tango. It's going to take a team willing to jump up, and you're probably not going to get the haul this year because that value between 10 and 50 is so similar. You're not going to get your, future first round pick and all this other stuff. You're going to get pretty equal trade value chart stuff where some fans might be like, well, we gave up way more to come up for Justin Fields. Why aren't we getting more? It's not
because you're not talking about a quarterback.
True.
So I would love to know your thoughts on if there's a player that you would be absolutely okay with taking at 10 that isn't an obvious name, or are you leaning towards trading back? Because my gut is telling me that they should trade back at this point now with the news of Trey Smith. I don't think you can acquire. I think that the blue chip right guard would help your center. You can afford to draft a left guard. But at this point, that story's dead and gone, so I do think that they need to go a bit more shotgun, pick up some more assets. So a hypothetical mock that I just did this past Saturday. You trade back from 10 to 18, not with the Bengals, but with the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. Seahawks come up to get Mykel Williams at 10, so you miss out on a bit of an athletic freak with long arms, and instead you get picks 18 and 50. I would be very much okay with that.
Did you watch our fan-led mock draft? That was exactly what we did with the fan-led.
The exact same thing?
Well, we took 18, 50, and a 6-rounder. And yeah, we did almost identical, yeah.
And did the Seahawks take Mykel Williams at 10?
I don't remember who they took, but we took Walter Nolan. I love the
Go ahead, keep giving me details. You'll be hearing from my attorney. I'm going to sue you for copying me. So, obviously joking. Obviously,
I've already done that mock draft 15,000 times, my friend.
I'm sure you have. I'm going
to have the condensed version because that was a 3-hour long video. It was absolutely a blast. For those of you who were there for it, I mean, we had way more fun than I expected. We're going to do another one before the actual draft. We'll do a fan after
the day before. Yeah.
Well, before. Free agency will be over. It'll
that
be
week before, because the first day of a draft, the first round is on a Thursday, right?
Yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Do this on a Monday through a Wednesday. You will have 500 people in here.
Oh, we already had such a good crowd.
I'm sure you did.
This is so much fun.
Absolutely.
So I will have the results of that in a short condensed video, 15, 20 minutes of what the fan-led mock draft did. So it's not a 3-hour long video. So I'll have that out this weekend while I'm down there. I'm taking this whole big clunky computer, this whole big thing. I'm taking this down with me.
Oh, this is off you're producing off a laptop?
Not a laptop, dude. I'm lifting the whole freaking thing up.
But why do you, so you just have the camera on the computer?
It's built in.
Into what? Into the desktop computer?
Into a computer. This is my computer right here. Yes.
What? I don't know if I can show you this. Like, I've got the setup. Like, I just have an external camera.
Bro, my next thing is to buy a really nice, higher quality external camera with a gaming computer that has a lot more RAM and a lot quicker processing. When I was doing the live mock draft, like we had a couple lags because they're trying to go between so many screens and the mock draft databases and trying to.
Yeah.
So I gotta upgrade. This is a HP 2020 model Core i5. I don't even know what. I don't. It's nothing special, but it's got all my stuff on it. Everything.
Yeah,
on it.
I just want to get this straight. You have a desktop computer, and into that desktop, you have the camera built in. Is it an all-in-one that includes the monitor?
It's this. It's this thing.
It's the monitor, like you're looking at the screen too.
Yes.
It's an all-in-one. Okay, so you went the stupid simple route, and that's not wrong. Just like this draft philosophies, that's not wrong.
Stupid simple, but it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that stuff.
It's for work. This was for work, and then this turned into a hobby that's now turned into what it is, and now I need to upgrade, and I just gotta.
Cliff.
We've talked about this. There's not enough hours in a day.
Yeah.
And I just need to get it organized because I got to get a better mic. This mic has had several problems as we've gone throughout.
Got to get that Shure SM7B. I'll hook you up on that. I mean, I'm gonna buy that pretty soon, I think, and then I'll give you my official review. And we'll be doing these lives. Hopefully, I'll have that new microphone, and you can judge it based off of what you hear from me.
And then I got to get a new gaming. I got to get a good. Anybody know anything about computers and good processing at a semi? Oh yeah, you're an IT guy. At a semi-reliable rate. You show me what I should buy there too.
Ryzen 9 5950X. That's my processor. It's got 16 cores. It's built for multitasking. It might not be the best for gaming, cool. But I don't think you're doing that. So
you know how some of them have lights in there that can be like orange and maybe
I showed
orange and blue.
Hold on a second here, pal. Hold on.
I saw your green or your is it blue?
It's purple. You can't see it all, but
I need one with burnt orange and blue. That's what I need.
If you get RGB, you can configure that. I'll do a configuration for that, and I'll show you, and you'll get all jealous. The nod to get an Acer computer to pair with his Nokia cell phone. That's awesome.
This is good stuff. Sorry to geek out at the end and talk about things other than the Bears. If any of you left, we totally understand it, but we appreciate you guys being a part of it. Karl, I got to go. I got to get out of here. At the rate I'm in now, I lose an hour going to Arizona, and it's a 5-hour drive. I'm going to get there at past 10 o'clock, which sucks, but it's fun. We were here to hang out with you guys, and I'm going to drive very safely, but I am going to have the combine on my phone so I can hear it, not watch. I won't watch. I promise I won't watch. And drive the whole way down.
I promise.
Yeah, I promise. As an insurance guy, I promise. So I'll be going down there, and I'll have to turn BCP on the way down. Those who haven't subscribed to Karl yet, why haven't you yet? Karl is an up-and-comer. Karl is flying some good stuff over there. Karl's got no filter. So subscribe to Karl. Make sure you get over to Thigh and Spine. And then he's in the background of BCP, so watch BCP as well. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here, Karl?
No. Sam L. dropped Karl's channel. It's just Thigh and Spine. More applicable today. Bears Country Productions for the show that's happening later today in a couple hours at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. You guys, I'm seeing these names each and every week. The dedication from the fans, the returning viewership, it's fantastic. It's a beautiful thing to see. I just love getting to interact with you guys in this chat. So I appreciate you guys just, spending your time with me and Adam. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Could never thank you guys enough.
So, Benjamin, with that, I am going to the Raiders game. It would be dumb for me not to go to the Bears-Raiders game this year. I don't know the schedule yet. If it's a week I have my girls, because I have my girls every other week. If it's a week I have them, I won't be meeting up with anybody. If I don't have them, it's a week I don't. Dude, we will do a meetup for sure. That would be fun. I'll let everybody know.
Well, I'll talk to Roger Goodell for you, and we'll sort that out. So just drop your schedule, Adam, and I'll take care of that for you.
Perfect. And then I do plan on going.
I got 50-50 odds.
Got heartburn today. Sorry, guys. If you see me acting funny, that's what's going on. I am going to San Francisco this year for the game there, and I'm going to the Bears opener.
Oh, yeah?
And then, I go to Chicago.
I know Danny Scantini is going to be there from Bears Country Productions as well. He always is. So
last year I went to the Rams game, which was week 3, I think.
4, 3, something like that.
I try to time it at the very beginning of the season so I can watch some Cubs games. And opening weekend this year for the Cubs or for the Bears, if it's on week 1, if we play our first game at home, the Cubs will be playing the Reds, I think. So I try to hit it so I get both. I can go to games on Friday, Saturday, and then go to a Bears game on Sunday. So I'll be out there for that. And I also want to go see I want to fly out again I'll try to go twice this year. I want to go see the Cowboys game. That's going to be a huge one with Eberflus and him coming back. So that'll be fun to be a part of that and hear the boos and hear
That feels a little bit overblown. I'm sure they'll boo him, but it depends on how good we are. Because if it's later on in the season, like by week 10, we'll know if Ben Johnson's the guy or not. In my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So I'll be out there. I plan on going to 4 games this year. That's the plan. We'll see how things adapt.
No, crazy. Dustin called me Crazy Karl unironically. That's fantastic. Seems my reputation precedes myself.
You didn't do it correctly. If you're going to call him crazy, you got to do it Crazy Karl with a C. Whenever I'm giving Karl the underhand dig, I got to do it. It was funny when Dan Shortino didn't know that was like my inside joke with you to Karl. Karl with a C.
Adam is with a K. Yeah.
He was like trying to correct me. I'm like, Dan, stay in your lane, bro.
Chill.
I love Dan. Dan, so I'll check it out tonight with BCP. I'll be there. You know me. I'll be there.
Fantastic. Stand-up guy.
Notch, how'd you know I'm golfing while I'm down in Arizona? Ooh, we already talked about this. So I was
Foster Covers is getting crazy too. Oh my god.
I was on the high school golf team. Do you know that, Karl?
High school golf? No, I don't feel like that's very impressive. I think that you being
it's way impressive.
An Olympic athlete is a little bit more impressive.
Olympic qualifying athlete.
That's not what you tell the ladies. Just Olympic athlete. Short attention span.
Those who didn't know, I qualified for the Olympics. I had an Olympic qualifying mark. I did.
Make sure you show the hand, no wedding ring. No, I'm just kidding.
I was number 37 of all qualifiers, so I was not invited to Olympic Village.
Rip.
So, true facts. All right, we're just dragging on at this point. Appreciate you, Karl. See you next week. We'll have some big news right before free agency. We're going to do a free agency video next week where we kind of go in depth of where we think the best fits for the team are. We'll go over the roster a little bit more then. We'll have extended stuff from the combine. It'll be over with, kind of where we see guys that have risen and fallen and how we're going from there. But we'll have a good time. We got 7 more episodes of this until the draft. That means we're 7 weeks away from the draft, my friend.
Yeah. Literally, it's starts on April 24th, like 2 weeks. Yep. 7 weeks, like you said. Like it's gonna come up real fast.
Because we're doing 7 more episodes, and then the 8th week is the draft, so we won't be doing that on that Thursday. But
yeah, you're spot on here. The 6th is when we're doing the next show, right? And then literally all we've got is one work day, the weekend, and then boom, on Monday is when you're gonna hear your DeAndre Swifts get signed in the first minute, things like that. Like the legal tampering window is gonna be hot and heavy.
Yeah, it's gonna be
no Diddy.
All right, appreciate you, Karl. I'm out of here, loading up, and I'm gone. So appreciate you coming on. Till next time, guys. Dub Bears.
Bye.
And then this takes a minute to end. I got to push the button.